Charlie Crimebuster here. 1-800-779-7233. I'll give you that number again in a moment. It's a number that could save your life. Our show today, Behind Closed Doors. Well, welcome again to this edition of the Charlie Crimebuster Show. Today our subject, behind closed doors. And behind those doors, my friend, every 20 seconds, someone is a victim of domestic abuse in this country. And we're going to talk about it. Welcome again to the Charlie Crimebuster Crime Talk. We're also going to have some segments on how to spot an abuser. How do you know whether an abuser may already be in your family, maybe married to your daughter? We're also going to have our Crazy Crook Story. And in a few moments, we're going to have an update on Bill Cosby and why, in spite of a guilty verdict, why he may not serve hard time, may not even go to jail. And as a bonus, you will hear a very unique trick that you can use to get rid of those annoying telemarketers that keep taking your time and interrupting your life. A surefire trick that should work. And hey, by the way, if you're thinking about taking a vacation this season and you're going down to the Big Easy, also known as New Orleans or New Orleans, be careful where you park, because you just might get a speeding ticket. That's right, not a parking ticket, a speeding ticket. First, did you know that you may be in danger of becoming a victim of domestic violence even though you're not involved in a domestic violence relationship? That's why the number 1-800-779-7233 is so important. Christopher Snyder chased his wife to a neighbor's house up in Brookville, Maryland. When he entered that neighbor's house, police report that he shot and killed 3 people other than his wife that he was chasing. He killed his neighbor, he killed his neighbor's guest, and folks, he even killed somebody who was just doing housework there. 3 real people killed. Thank God his wife was able to flee the residence and she was not harmed. Snyder then retreated to his house where a police standoff took place and he killed himself. Tragic story, but unfortunately not that uncommon. Statistics now tell us that 20% of victims of domestic violence are bystanders. 20% are not those that are in the abusive relationship. So if you are helping to harbor someone in an abusive relationship, please do not let your guard down. Get help and get it quickly. Speaking of help, the domestic hotline, national, 1-800-799-7233, or online, it's simply thehotline.org. Thehotline.org. Now, these people are experts at helping to form a safety plan that will work to keep both the victim and others safe. 1-800-779-7233, or online, thehotline.org. All right, it's time now for that Crazy Crook story. Our crazy crook, Kyle McLean of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He met somebody on Facebook, went to their home, and according to reports, he went there to have sex with her. Only problem? It wasn't a she he met, but rather a he. And Mr. Kyle, he was not okay with it. Kyle's Facebook date was a man posing as a woman online. Now, as the imposter fled to the bathroom, he went to the bathroom, I should say, Kyle pulled out a pistol and fired 2 shots. Now, thankfully, he was not only a dumb crook at this time, or a dumb criminal at this time, but he was a lousy shot as well. You see, since Kyle was a convicted drug dealer and was not allowed to have a weapon, You see, it just got worse and worse. Talk about a bad day. Bad decisions all around for Kyle. Well, he was a convicted felon, should not have a weapon, had a weapon, discharged it twice. He was sentenced by Judge Richard Lewis. Richard Lewis, the judge, sentenced him 5 to 10 years in state prison. Now, there are lessons to learn. First and foremost, be careful who you meet online. They're often, many times, they are not who they say they are. And for some more information on how to be safe and single, let me invite you to our website, charliecrimebuster.com, charliecrimebuster.com. And you can read under our crime prevention section some ways to stay safe while you're single and dating. That's charliecrimebuster.com. Now be careful who you date and watch who you marry. There are some dangerous, dangerous people out there, and there are some red flags to look for. Our subject today is behind closed doors. Behind closed doors, there lurks sometimes danger. And these are not the kind of people you want to live with. Now, what are some of the signs to look for in a possible abuser? A would-be abuser. Here's some warning signs. Now, if you're dating someone, take a moment, listen, use caution. If you're already living with someone who has these signs, beware. Danger could be lurking. Now, according to the experts at the Coalition of the Anti-Domestic Abuse, here are some signs. Some are obvious. An abuser may be someone, number one, who abuses alcohol or drugs. An abuser may be someone who has a history of trouble with the law, gets into fights, destroys property. An abuser may blame you for how they treat you. That's right. Blame you for how they treat you. Or if anything bad happens, you're to blame. An abuser may put down your family and friends, call them names. You see, they want to pull you away from everybody but themselves. An abuser may try to isolate you and control whom you see and where you go. An abuser would blame all the arguments and the problems on you. It's your fault. You're the reason I'm acting this way. And 7, but not last, abusers are physically rough with you. They push, they shove, they pull, they yank, they squeeze, or restrain. My friend, if it's up to that point, you need to call 1-800-799-7233, 1-800-799-7233, or online, thehotline.org. Those fine folks will help you find some local help to get you the help that you need. They'll help you get rid of the danger. Now, when you're rid of the danger, and you do find a good person, have fun. Do a lot of great things. Enjoy life with that special someone in your life. Maybe even take a vacation. However, listen to me now. If you plan to go to the Big Easy, if you plan to go down to New Orleans or New Orleans, you might want to be careful about where you park, because you just might get a speeding ticket. And you can just ask the man by the name of Donald Schultz there in New Orleans. You see, Donald, he parks his car and his truck on the street right in front of his house, in view of a speed camera, one that continually registers vehicles when they speed by. The only problem, the vehicle that's registered as speeding, well, it's Donald's parked vehicles. You see, so far, he has received 10 speeding tickets for parking. No, wait, I misspoke. He was just issued his 11th ticket. And get this 11th ticket, it was triggered by a police vehicle. Yes, sir, a police vehicle that was speeding down Donald Street. Police vehicle. The police vehicle wasn't a ticket. No ticket for that police vehicle. But Donald's car, it was ticketed. Well, thank God, according to this article, they are in the process of fixing it. They tried to fix it before. Hopefully it'll work this time. But just maybe, it might work. But in case it is not fixed, if you go on vacation, take a trip down to the Big Easy, go down to New Orleans, be careful where you park in the Big Easy. You may have a vacation ruined by a speeding ticket. ruined by a speeding ticket. Hey, speaking of someone who's abusive, on one of our past programs, we had a program about Bill Cosby and how he was brought down. We talked about a number of things in that program, including that 14-year gap that was there before he was prosecuted, and we tell you why it took 14 years to prosecute him. We also tell you about the joke that was heard around the world. And we mentioned, of course, that what we call the smoking gun that really took him over the line, that really convinced at least one juror that he was guilty. You can find out all about that by just taking some time to look at the broadcast, or listen to the broadcast rather. Don't get you to look at the broadcast, do you? You listen to it. Listen to the broadcast and you'll find all that and a whole lot more. But we do have an update. Did you know that even though he has been convicted, well, he may not do hard time. In fact, he may do no time at all. Now, keep in mind I said may. There's some articles out there that we've been researching lately. Now, keep in mind that he's 80 years of age, and the judge turned down the prosecution request to send him to jail immediately. That's right, turned it down. A lot of people, they get convicted, they go to jail immediately, not Cosby. The judge cited Cosby's age and the fact that he had appeared at all the hearings over the past couple of years. You see, the defense could request that Cosby remain on house arrest, as he is now with the ankle bracelet. They could request that he remains on house arrest until all the appeals are heard. And we know there are going to be appeals, mainly, of course, over the calling of 5 women to testify regarding crimes that Cosby had not even been charged with. So, charges that could send him to prison for 30 years may not send him to prison in his lifetime. He might die during the appeal process at age 80. And there are others who say that even if he goes to prison, he may be, because of health reasons, they may have someone there to help guide him because of his eyesight. He may have his own personal assistant helping him walk around. They may keep him out of the general population because of who he is and maybe the danger that could befall him. So the possibility of Cosby doing real hard time like many do, well, it may be minimal according to these articles. But we wait, and we see. But in the meantime, there are those that are in an abusive relationship. There are people, ladies and gentlemen, that when they go behind closed doors, you and I have no idea about the hell that they face behind those closed doors. It may be your friend. It may be your daughter. It may be your niece. It may be you. There are people who are in danger. And there are 4 things that you may not even know about these people who abuse people. There may be things that you did not think about. There may be times when you see this person and you wonder why they're down. You wonder why they're discouraged because you haven't seen any physical sign of abuse. Well, there are 4 things that you may not know. 4 things you and I may not know about abusers. Number 1, abusers pick and choose whom to abuse. You see, my friend, they just don't go around abusing people at their work or school or in their everyday life. You see, they usually keep this abuse to those that are closest to them, to those who they say and claim to love. They may be all right in public. You may not see any sign at all. Now, number 2, abusers choose when and where to abuse. You see, contrary to what you think, most are not out of control, but they're very much in control when and where they want to abuse. And usually that is when they are alone with their victim. Number 1, abusers pick and choose whom to abuse. Number 2, abusers choose when and where to abuse. And number 3, they can and they are able to stop their abusive behavior when it is to their own benefit. Did you hear that? They can and they will stop abusive behavior when it's to their own benefit. They can stop immediately when it's in their best interest to do so. You see, on most domestic calls that I responded to as a street officer, well, when I arrived, the abuser was in complete control. He appeared to be the calm one of the issue. You see, that's what they do. They control. And number 4, they are good at hiding their abuse. Good at hiding their abuse, and including where they hit and physically abuse. Usually they hit where it doesn't show. This is why often they get away with it, and why some are so surprised to hear of abuse when it was not visible before. They hear of all types of people that are abusive in all walks of life. They might live down the street across from you, may even work in the White House or the courthouse or the school or the church. Abusers are very good at hiding in plain sight. Well, something not abusive, but boy, it sure is annoying, isn't it? Yep, it sure is annoying. It is those annoying, oh, those annoying cell phone calls you get, or to your home. It is those people who call you night and day, and you tell them all kinds of things. You try to get rid of it. You see, many of us have our days interrupted and wasted by those annoying telemarketer calls. Well, we have what I think is a surefire way to make them stop. And you get to be a little naughty. That's right. You get to be a little naughty by playing a trick on them to get to stop. All coming from an article written by David Coughlin. You see, he suggested that you trick them. You see, you can ask them not to call you. You can say, hey, put me on your do not call list, but I can tell you by experience that doesn't work. Some are from overseas and they could care less about our laws and policies. You can even block the number on your phone, but they'll just call you from another. Or you can trick them. You can get a recording, according to David. You get a recording where the number is no longer in service and you can use it. And they call you, and then you hit your recording, and it goes something like this.
Sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again.
Or they may call you a second time, then maybe I got the wrong number, and they hear this.
You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again.
And according to David, oftentimes when you do that, they realize they're wasting their time and their company's time in trying to run you down, so they just take you off the list. Hey, I don't know about you. I can't wait to try it. I've got the recording. You just heard it. Yeah, I can't wait to try that. How about you? Get your recording of that message about being out of service, and the next time you get that annoying telemarketer call, well, just send that recording and see what happens. Well, the NFL, the National Football League, and domestic violence. Now, you probably already know that it isn't a new problem. It kind of became nationalized back in, it's back in 2014. Back in 2014, if you remember, the football player Ray Rice assaulted his fiancée. He assaulted her, and it happened in all places. In all places, it happened in an elevator, in a hotel. And right there, Rice knocked out his wife, knocked her out on camera. Now, the video was released by TMZ. But before this incident, the NFL's policy was that team members, they would be disciplined, but not really set penalties. You see, Rice, he was only suspended from 2 NFL games, only 2. And then came the outcry, the publicity from this released video. And so after that, when this became a priority, then they increased the discipline. They got a little more tough about this thing of domestic violence regarding NFL football players. And now the first offense is a 6-game suspension without pay. The second offense, one could get you kicked out of the league. But here's the kicker, though. Now, excuse that pun. Here's the kicker. When this became a policy, when this new policy with more teeth in it became reality, there was a survey taken, and they found that 49 players that year were in the criminal statistics of domestic abuse. And of all the arrests of NFL players, during this time, 48% of the arrests, almost half the arrests, was for domestic violence. That's right, for domestic violence. Almost half of all the arrests for domestic violence. 48%. Now, here's the clincher. The national percentage of arrests for domestic violence, 21%. The NFL's percent, 48%. Almost twice likely to abuse. Well, maybe, I don't know about you, friend, but maybe, just maybe, the next time NFL players kneel during the national anthem to protest police actions, maybe they think a little more about the actions of their own. The actions of their own in taking advantage of brute strength and size to hit, hurt, and assault women. I think maybe they ought to protest that. And maybe they ought to thank God that the police are out there to respond to those events, to protect the victims of domestic abuse. Well, here's some interesting news. Yep, I read this. I had to read the story twice. I honestly had to read it twice. A man reporting that he was shot. Well, boy, that's not new today. I know that. You say, hey, Charlie, that's sure not new. You're right, it's not new. But he was shot not by a gang, not by a domestic partner, not even by a random act of violence. This man, he was shot by his dog. That's right, D-O-G, his dog. An Iowa man was in the hospital after he was shot by his dog while they were wrestling. Now, this is according to the Fort Dodge Messenger. Richard Remy, 51 years of age, reported that he was playing with his dog Baloo when the pup accidentally hit the gun, causing it to fire and hit him in the leg. Now, Richard believes that the dog bumped and disabled the safety of the gun that was located on the belly band of his bib overalls. Well, thank God, Richard will be all right. And just in case you were interested, no charges were filed against Baloo, the dog. Now, something a little more serious. We covered red flags to look at an abuser earlier, but how about red flags coming from the victim that may indicate that you are in an abusive relationship? From the victim, not the abuser. Now, some of the good material is coming to us by the way of red flags, and it's coming to us by the way of the Red Flag Campaign, and it's adapted from the Domestic Abuse Project. And here's what they say. You may be a victim if, number one, you feel afraid to break up with them. By the way, you're probably right to feel afraid. Sometimes the most dangerous time is when you leave, or choose to leave and let them know you are. That's why before you do anything, you need to call the hotline. You need to get help. Let them put together a safety plan. You may be a victim if you feel tied down and feel like you must check in all the time. You may be a victim if you feel afraid to make decisions or to bring up certain subjects because the other person may get mad. You may be a victim if you tell yourself if you just try harder and love your partner enough, well, everything will just be fine. Not true, friend. You may be a victim if you find yourself crying a lot, being depressed or unhappy. You may be a victim if you find yourself worrying and obsessing about how to please your partner and keep them happy. You may be abused, finally, because you find physical or emotional abuse getting worse and worse over time. And my friend, when that is happening, you need to call 1-800-799-7233, 1-800-799-7233, or online, thehotline.org, thehotline.org. Hey, let me invite you to our website, charliecrimebuster.com. On this site, you will find more digital radio shows just like this one, crime prevention tips, and a whole lot more. It would help us if you joined with us by following our media outlets at crimebuster.com, crimebuster.com. We would love hearing from you. We'd love for you to take a look at our brand new website, We'd love for you to follow us on Twitter and a number of other places. It would help us get the word out and keep others safe. All right, it's time for us to do our wrap-up. A wrap-up from behind closed doors, domestic violence. 3 quick thoughts. Number 1, it is highly likely you know someone who is a victim right now of domestic violence. So please, hey, get your head out of the sand. Don't ignore the problem, and don't try to take care of this person on your own. Get help. 1-800-799-7233. Put it in your phone. Have it handy. Our own line, thehotline.org. So number 1, get your head out of the sand. Number 2, if you are an abuser, if I'm talking to you right now, get help right away. Get help right away before you do something you will forever regret. Last year, 1,700 plus people lost their life in domestic violence. My friend, this is not a joking matter. This is a real matter. If you're an abuser, get help. Number 3, if you are in a domestic violence situation yourself, if you are a victim of domestic violence, you are not alone, friend. You're not alone. There are people that will help you. They will help you put a safety plan for you, your children, and anybody else that may be in the path of this abuser. 1-800-799-7233, thehotline.org. Hey, this is Charlie Crimebuster, thanking you for joining us on the ride today. Until this time, next time, be safe, because the life you save, well, it just may be your very own.